Hello and welcome to Tell Your Story 2023. I am host, author Consuelo Meehan, and I'm excited to have this next author on my platform. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Charm White, but I do write under the pseudonym CC Miller. I have written about 12 books. I am the author of 12 adult books and one kids book. So I do write my kids books under the name Charm White because I try to keep my adult books separate from my kids books. I was born in Jamaica, but I have lived in the States since 2008. And I am the mom of two beautiful kids, ages 11 and 12. And I'm currently studying to become a paralegal, but in my spare time, of course, I dedicate my time to writing.
That's amazing. Oh, so you have a long journey because you came over here in 2018. So before
2008.
2008. Okay. So before we tap into that, what has it been like for you to relocate to a different country and different cultures, experiencing that?
I wouldn't say it's been easy, but I mean, like with everything in life, you just have to adapt and, just roll with the punches. For me, I started out in the US with humble beginnings, and then I slowly worked my way up. And now I'm kind of satisfied with where I am in the US culturally. I wouldn't say that the adjustment was really difficult. I did experience a lot of ignorant comments when it came to, my nationality being a Jamaican. But outside of that, especially in Georgia, where I reside, I've experienced a lot of warmth, a lot of, just friendly people, people that are interested in my culture, things like that. So yeah, it was an adjustment, but I wouldn't say anything, too crazy.
That's unfortunate, but I'm also not surprised
Right.
that you've had to go through that experience. But I'm happy to have you and learn more about you as an author, as a person, your Jamaican culture and things like that. Having a different perspective, especially in this world, is important. It's important to be able to respect people as human beings, have love in your heart, and it's actually fun to and intriguing to learn someone else's culture. And so like I said, I'm not surprised, but I'm definitely happy to have you here, have you on the platform today. You're welcome. And
I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so let's dive into, I actually you said you had to separate the adult books from the children, and I understand that because my writing, I was wondering to myself, like, do I need to do that? And when I first started, I did that. I have my children's book and my legal name, and then my pen name for other stuff, but most of it is PG-13 that I write. And some of the adult stuff, there's a lot of celebrities that wrote kids books. And so I'd say to myself, well, I feel like they'll, most likely separate it eventually. So I definitely get that. So let's dive first into your kids books. Now, what inspired you to start writing and to write a children's book?
So I have to say my children. I started out writing adult books first. And my kids, so they would see me up all night, at all hours of the night. And they're like, Mommy, when are you going to write a book for us? So I'm like, okay, I am writing this book in particular for you guys. The name of the book is Prince Salus and the Leopon. A leopon is a mix between a leopard and a lion. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a hybrid. It really exists. And so what I wanted to do with that, with the knowledge of the different hybrids of animals out there, I wanted to create a whole world with these animals. And I wanted to, write about a particular prince, a young man who's 17 years old, and him trying to, after his kingdom was destroyed, him trying to reclaim his kingdom on his Leopold, right? So I wrote that story for my children, so that they could read that and not be so intrigued or feel too left out because, I'm writing my adult books, which is on the other extreme, not PG-13 at all. So I always wanted them to be able to pick up one of mommy's books and say, oh, this book, I can read it, it's for me. So that's kind of what inspired me.
That's amazing. That actually is what started my journey on writing kids' books, is looking out at my kids.
Right.
I've been a single mother
Yeah.
since I started having kids, and I have two. And I started a blended family series, but it
Oh.
went a little further for me because um, I know people close to me that's been adopted, that's been in foster care, that
Mm.
where kids will have special needs and disabilities and things like that. So it's a whole series, and it's not just the blended family series based on just a family that has separated, the traditional verbiage of a blended family. It goes further to explain children living with different relatives, children
Oh.
experiencing loss, and it just opens up the conversation that is needed for kids, especially
Mhm.
kids that went through COVID. It really took a toll on kids that had special needs and the parents that had special needs. And so um, your book will probably tie into definitely helping these kids
Mhm.
being able to adjust in certain situations and things that they've had to go through, losing parents or anything that they can tap into to give themselves an outlet. And so that is
Right.
great. That's a great story. And
Thank you.
so now let's next tap into your adult books. And so,
So my favorite one, Shedding a Hegelian Love Story. I honestly love fantasy, sci-fi. You can tell by the kids' book. I love that world. So I created an adult world, well, an adult book based on fantasy. So pretty much it's a story that kind of incorporates the element of Greek mythology, sort
mhm,
of. The story is actually based or inspired by Medusa, the story of Medusa. And as you know, Medusa is this hag with snakes for hair, and of course, they sent all these bloodthirsty men to murder her because she was so vicious, right? But guess what? The real story behind Medusa, or the other side to it, is that she didn't start out that way. She was actually sexually assaulted in Athena's temple. And I
mm,
found that to be so unfair that in the end, she was the one that ended up being punished. And then she
mhm,
was the one that ended up being sent to the underworld or whatever. And then they send these bloodthirsty men who are trying to, they're trying to gain some type of reputation by, killing her. And then that's just her story. But she was a victim, really, starting out. So my story, inspired by that, I have a young woman. Well, she's actually 52, I think. She's 52, and she looks like she's in her 20s because she is she ages slowly. She doesn't age like normal humans. She's trying to assimilate with humans, but she can't because she has certain features that stand out, or make her stand out. And she pretty much doesn't know where she she doesn't know her history. She doesn't know where she's from. She just knows that her mom is the same way. She doesn't even know her father, right? So she doesn't know, her history or herself, so to speak. So this lands her into depression. She really wants to, she's suicidal. She wants to, she has mental health issues, just battling with not knowing herself and knowing her history. And she ends up meeting this guy through her work, and only to find out that there's this whole world of beings known as Nagalians, and that's where her history lies. So of course, it's an adult novel, so of course there's the romance element and the erotica that goes with it, but there's like a deeper message to it too, in my opinion, because we have a lot of people who struggle with mental health issues, depression, suicidal thoughts, things like that. And sometimes it stems from them not having a strong understanding of themselves. Diana, the main character, she eventually, after, gaining knowledge about who she is, she eventually finds her strength in that, while falling for Drax, the Nagalian guy. And he is kind of very controlling. So there's a lot of adult elements, like I said there, but it's very interesting. And the sex scenes are really good. So there's that. So it's a lot, but it's very entertaining.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And so is this the series that you started, or is this an individual book and you have other books that are different titles, or explain that?
Okay, so the plan is to have a trilogy, is to have book 2 and book 3. That is the plan with Shedding. And so those are in the work. This is, right now I only have the first one published, but outside of that, I do have other books. I have one coming out by the end of this month. It's called Will You Take It or Leave It? That's more reality based, of course, and it's a rich girl, poor guy trope. Of the guy, he is a garbage collector, and he falls for the rich girl, and they struggle with that. But that is going to come out by the end of April. And I also have other books that are series. I have the Love Heartbreak series, and I also have the Insatiable series. And I must warn my readers, yes, when I write adult genre books, they are very, very out there. So brace yourselves. But I promise you, you will enjoy it. The plots are interesting and very unique. So yeah.
Well, I mean, sex, it's a part of life. It's how we all got here. At some point or another, people will experience it in their lifetime. And so, that's something I'm sure a lot of readers will adapt to and get into. And so, do you think that you will start writing more kids' books, or are you focused right now on the adult?
I have started book 2 for Prince Sailors and the Leopon. It's going to be King Sailors and the Wild Zors. So I'm working on that right now, and I really want to finish that by the end of the year. And then I kind of want to probably publish about 7 of those, series. And I also, like I said, I love sci-fi, I love fantasy. So I'm also working on another sci-fi kids book called The Prediction. So I do have a lot of work in progress. So, it's just for me to kind of just focus and get them done.
Yeah, I find that a lot of writers on this platform, they do other jobs and then they write at night or in their spare time. And and that's what motivates them the most. But the one thing that I want to go back and touch on a little bit is a discussion that has been going on with each interview, and that is mental health. Mental health has gotten worse since COVID.
Yeah.
Just the human touch, it sends your brain into a happy place, and a lot of people weren't able to see relatives, family, loved ones. Even coworkers where you can go to work and, enjoy, if you enjoy your job and you're, going to work and leaving the house. And it really caused a lot of anxiety and a lot of illnesses, including mental illness. And so, with that being said, something that you have wrote about in your first book when you talked about Medusa, do you feel like the writing is an outlet, and that is the source of peace for people to be able to write, even if they start journaling? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that helps?
For me, it definitely helps to be able to write. I've been writing my entire life. I started out with poetry, and then I was heavy into the journaling, like you mentioned. And for my entire life, writing has been my outlet. And it was kind of funny because I just reconnected with some of my old elementary school friends, and they actually said to me, oh yeah, you were known as the girl that writes. And
Mhm.
I wasn't even paying attention to that, but to just have people acknowledge that about me, it's just, it just makes me feel so proud, because that's just who I am as a person. I just love to write. It doesn't even matter. I did at one point want to be a journalist, and I did write for a short time as a columnist when I just left high school. So I couldn't imagine my world without writing. And in terms of mental health, absolutely it helps. There are a couple of poetry that I have written that are so dark I can't even share with the world. But for me, it gave me such peace just letting that out, as dark as it is. And I enjoy going back and rereading some of the things that I've written, and to see how far I've come, where moments where I was struggling, because you did mention how during the COVID era, well, we're still with it, we're still in the COVID era,
We're still in
but
COVID. It's
let's,
here to stay, unfortunately.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but when it was a crisis, and we didn't know what to do, and it was like, a cause for panic. During that time, I was going through my own struggles, I was going through my own struggles. And I think it was during that time that I was pushing out a lot of these books too, which is kind of, I wasn't really even, trying to connect, that COVID with me writing. But yeah, I did push out a lot of books during that time. And I guess it helped me to just overcome that, that moment, or overcome, that struggle with, being at home and dealing with my own personal things. And of course, just that panic of COVID. I mean, the panic was so real during that time. You kind of just really needed to escape. And my books allowed me to do that.
Yeah, because a lot of people did not think they're good writers. I had a guy I dated, and he's like, I don't write, you're good at writing, you're good, you do poetry. And I'm like, there's a writer in everybody. Even if it's
Right.
journaling, even if you don't want to, it's been a lot of talk about healing and things going on in the world. And um, to me, I try to tell people, even if you choose not to go to a counselor, if that's not your thing, if you don't want to see a life coach or, whatever, that you feel like, because so many people, it's like a taboo. They don't want to, say that they need help in a mental space. But even if you feel that way and you don't want to reach out to anybody, journaling is such a good way to start to help. Writing is so therapeutic. And so he wrote something and then we both laughed about it. It was funny. But he found it to be like, I'm like, there's a writer in all of us.
Right.
You know, and that's what inspired me, and then authors like you that inspire me as well. And this is why I created this platform, because self-published authors, it's hard to market. And then COVID, we were in 2020, and I'm like, we can't go to any book fairs this year.
Oh my
We were
gosh.
stuck in the house, and so I just started reaching out to every author group on Facebook, Instagram, asking to interview
Yeah.
different authors. And I met some amazing people through this journey. And now you are on the list of those amazing people that I get to follow. And so thank you so much for coming on today. And before we leave, please let them know where they can reach you and what's next on your journey, following you as a writer. All your social media platforms where they can find your books.
Absolutely. I kind of wanted to kind of piggyback on something that you said about mental illness. I'm sorry. So remember DJ Twitch, may he rest in peace, he committed suicide. And at that moment, I took to social media and I wanted everyone to know that, okay, it's easy to say, oh, that person is going through that. And it's easy to come on here and tell folks, oh, seek help, do this. But I want to also kind of just push the message that that person could be you. Sometimes it is you. And sometimes we ought to personalize and not just say, oh, it's that person. Because then when you are in need of help, when you are the one that, is struggling, you might actually dismiss it, or you might, discount it and say, oh, no, whatever. And you actually need the counseling yourself. So I want people to understand that, to get rid of this whole stigma that it's a them issue or a they issue. It's our issue. And like you said, during COVID, a lot of people, they did develop or start, they were struggling with mental health. That is true. And there's no shame. There's no shame at all in admitting that, yes, you.
And it just, to me, and just to talk about Stitch, it was people have high functioning depression, high functioning anxiety. You do not know what someone is going through on that screen. And a lot of us do not want to be vulnerable. I had someone that I was close to say some terrible things to me that I vented to, but I don't care, because that shows what type of person they are. And if somebody, and that's the whole reason why people are scared to say, or come out and say something is wrong, because they don't want to be judged. They don't want people to go back and tell their business. It's a vulnerable, intimate conversation. When somebody reaches out to you and says, or they're crying, they're mourning a death, they just had a baby, get fired from their job. Life happens, and the biggest thing that we are going to experience in this world is loss. And it's going to be loss of either someone we love or loss of something we love. And in that space, people need to be able to be comfortable, to be able to go to somebody. You cannot keep that stuff inside. It's not healthy. And we have what, $1 billion makeup industry. We will put on these lashes, draw on these eyebrows. We will look like what the society deems as perfect, okay? Hair and everything, but we will not do the work for our mental health. And so something that is so important, and people think suicide is selfish. It is somebody that feels they have no other choice in a time of a very desperate situation, that they couldn't reach out to somebody, and in their mind they felt that this was all that they were able to give to life and they had nothing else. And so I'm so glad that you brought that up because it is so important. It's so important for people to really go through a healing journey. And like I said,
Right.
even if it's journaling, like you said, how therapeutic it was for you,
Right.
and it is for me as well. And so I just wanted to add that. I'm sorry, I kind of went into
No, you're fine. You're fine. I kind of wanted to say to remember, like, DJ Twitch, I think it was 2 days before that he posted and I'm sorry, that honestly, it stuck with me, because it was just kind of confirmation that people can look happy, present certain, things on social media, present the happy family, the perfect this and the perfect that, and then 2 days later, he drove to a hotel and killed himself. So that to me was like, it just said so much. It said so much. And we do have to, check on each other, and we have to take time for ourselves to, like you said, go through our healing process, and to take care of our mental health. So I'm so happy that you are using this platform to highlight that. Very good, where that is concerned. And I feel passionately about it too, because like I said, just to see that man, post something as happy, he was dancing. You would have never guessed that 2 days later we would be, saying rest in peace, DJ Twitch. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a big blow. Because he was an inspiration through his dancing with his beautiful family to a lot of people that got to watch him. And another thing that I do not like about we put ourselves out there, even with this book fair, in my books and my cartoon. We put ourselves out there to the world, but we don't put ourselves out there to the world for people to get behind the screen and say the nastiest things to celebrities, to on social media. Everybody has an opinion, but my thing is be respectful.
Yeah.
And we're in an art space. This is artistic space. And if you don't like somebody's movie, TV show, book, it's okay. Everything is not for you. I am not for everybody. Some of my reading isn't for everybody, and some people will probably be judgmental of my cartoon. And that's okay. But what I don't like is the people that hide behind the screen that probably need to get their own mental health checked for being able to say some of the vile things that they say on what they feel is a platform for them. But it's not going to ever bring you any type of true peace or happiness to be able to sit on social media and be judgmental, be critical, and just be mean, period. Love and respect each other. That's my biggest thing. We don't have to like each other, and that's fine. But love and respect, we've definitely lost that in the world, for sure. Yeah.
That's true. It's just the disconnect that the social media allows us to feel like, okay, I'm not connected to you, so I can say this to you, So,
Yep. And if you just get behind somebody and just really dig into like how we started, like your beautiful culture, where you're from, I love your accent.
Thank
You're
you.
a beautiful woman. So many positive things that people have to offer to other people. And so if you just dig behind somebody and figure out where they came from, you'll have a new appreciation for people. If you just, like you said, open your heart, your minds, and be welcoming to have somebody in your life to learn from. So that's amazing. So your platforms, so your next book is going to be jmarkpublishing.com.
That's correct. She will be publishing Will You Take It? Will You Take It or Leave It? And like I said, that's supposed to drop by the end of this month. I am currently working on book 2 of my just recently self-published book, My Chinese Rose, My Chinese Dragon, is going to also be published this year. And like I said, I have so many, but that's just how my mind is. It's like I just have all this creativity that I have to release. So I have so many things that I'm working on. But you know what is for sure that's going to be out this year? My Chinese Dragon, Will You Take It or Leave It? And hopefully my second kids book.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
and my platforms are, I am on Facebook as author CC Miller. I am
Okay.
on Instagram as author CC Miller as well, and author CC, which is kind of my personal page, plus I promote my books on there as well. And I'm also on TikTok, author CC Miller. I'm also on Twitter. I am everywhere because before I was actually reached out to by the publishing company that I'm working with now, I was working on my own to, you know, push my books out there. I'm a what they call an indie author.
Indie
I'm
authors.
I'm self-published. So I try to get onto every platform in order to market my books and to push them, you know, for people, to get them in front of people so people can read, which is very difficult. So this is why I'm trying to go the publishing route now. But yeah, I am practically everywhere.
Well, you are worth to follow. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that the viewers will follow you and follow your writing journey. And thank you so much. I know that I have a new author to follow. This will not
Thank
be
you.
the last time that we talk. So thank you so much for coming on today. And you have an amazing weekend.
Thank you. Let me also say before I go, this is my very first interview, and let me tell you, regarding
Really?
my books, yes, my first. And I have, like, for countless times just sat there and fantasized about how I would answer my questions, what, you know, things that they would ask me, and it is actually more nerve-wracking than I thought. But I am so grateful. Thank you so much for interviewing me. I am
You
just
are more than welcome.
thank
You did
you.
amazing. You
Thank
did
you.
amazing. Congratulations. You
Thank
know
you.
what? You know, really quick, like I don't like to be on video. Like I just
Mhm.
don't even watch the videos afterwards, but I have to because I have to make sure the editor is doing the editing job. And so I'm like, I don't really like myself on interviews. But I remember seventh grade, we did a test where we had to be on a video. And
Yeah.
I still say and my teacher's like, no, stop it, you're
Right.
not supposed to say that.
So
And
yeah, I
it
was
was
like so nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, here I go messing up. But thank you so much, and I really appreciate this. Ashley, she also appreciates it. She's from the J Mark Publishing as well, and you know, just keep helping us struggling authors out there. Thank you.
we will continue this platform as long as we can. And she is actually Ashley was introduced to me by the first season of Tell Your Story. And so I am a published author with her as well too now. And I'm so happy that she started the publishing company. She's doing amazing things. And so
Right.
through networking with her and being able to do this platform we have
Yes.
now, the Jamaican Curly Jamaican, uh, and we
Yes.
get to know everything that's going on with you and your reading and all that you are doing. And so, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate having you. It was a great interview. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.